Hi everybody. Gosh, it's a packed room, isn't it? Yeah. So can I ask first who's heard of OpenText? Yeah, oh, there's a few, that's good, okay. Often talked about as one of the largest companies that nobody's ever heard of. But, we'll just talk a little bit about who we are, but then talk about the engineering solutions. So OpenText is known probably for its document management. OpenText itself had a content suite platform, but also bought Documentum, again, which you may have heard of. But they also are into what they call enterprise information management. So as well as ECM, the number one in business networks, number one in customer engagement management, number one in digital asset management as well. And you can see 12,000 employees. Makes me a very small cog in a big machine. But we are broken up and spread across a number of industries. And actually, we're very strong in the engineering and technology industries. So you can see here, 18 out of the top 20 technology companies. But in terms of energy, we're very big in oil and gas and energy, 19 out of the top 20 energy and utility companies as well. So we do have a wide spread across the technologies. And our primary focus is really not so much AEC, although we do get into that quite a bit, but it's really oil and gas utilities and then getting into EPCs as well. We do have quite a lot of transportation customers and mining customers as well. My particular area is building these solutions that manage the processes and workflows around engineering information. So I just wanted to talk about the subject today is core for Supplier Exchange. We have three primary platforms in OpenText for engineering information. We've got what you might call the legacy OpenText content suite platform. We've got the Documentum platform. And then we've got our new multi-tenancy OT2 cloud platform. And all of these have got very comprehensive and richly functional sort of review and approval, transmittal management, markup commenting, all of those typical engineering process functions that you would expect. But a lot of them are on-premise or behind firewalls or in managed services. And what we've done with Supplier Exchange is provide a multi-tenancy SaaS interface for sort of fat-fingered contractors who can easily submit their information and have it in a logical process. And essentially, Supplier Exchange is not the system of record. It's a system that data passes through. So the question is, how does that relate to BIM and modeling and so on? So let me just go through the process quickly with you. Essentially, we've got on the right here your main system of record, which might be any of those three systems. And then on the left, you've got the cloud-based Supplier Exchange system. And the Supplier Exchange system is paid for by the number of transactions by the owner of this system. So the external party doesn't have to pay anything. And there's no users, there's no limit on users. Essentially, you create your deliverable, bill of materials or your deliverables list in the main system, and it automatically gets reflected out into Supplier Exchange. And then everybody gets sent invites, email invites to come along and provide their deliverables. So they come in, they submit their deliverable, or there's bulk loaders and so on available. But then we also have a review process in the cloud. So your document controllers or whoever you want can do a review. And what we're doing at this point, it's the point of this presentation, is that we're loading that into 3D Repo. So if it's a Revit file or if it's an IFC file, we'll trap it, we'll pick it up automatically, load it into 3D Repo so that when you come to do the review in the cloud, you can see the model data. This is before it's come anywhere near your main system. And then you can obviously use 3D Repo in your review there. You can do all of the commenting and markup and so on. Ultimately, if you accept it, it then comes into your main system along with all the other documents. And I was talking to a customer yesterday who has 2,000 contractors on Supplier Exchange piling in PDFs and Word documents and things. So it becomes part of that. And then you have your triggered internal subject matter expert kind of processes internally. They can also link to the 3D Repo system, which has the model data in it, and do their markups. But you have your system, your copy of the IFC in here as well, or BIM. So then we can send packages back. There's various ways to send data back to the suppliers. So they get the suppliers, and essentially it goes round and round in the loop. New revisions come in. new deliverables and so on. So that's the fundamental process. The supplier can also get direct access into the 3D repo model at that point as well. So pretty straightforward. Haven't got any other flashy 3D images to show you, but if we just run through it quickly, that'll get an idea of how it works. So this is the Supplier Exchange login. So a supplier would come along, log in, and say, okay, I've got some projects and I've got some contracts. Here's a project. And then there's a contract called Railing Systems there. And within that contract, you've got these deliverables. And you can see the status: pending, accepted, rejected. You pick a particular one. You can look at the documents. You've got a viewer built in here. So we also own the Brava viewer as part of our portfolio. And if you want to submit a new document, you would pick the open deliverable. And then you can use the plus there and quickly drag and drop or browse for a file. In this case, just a simple IFC file. You set the units and so on as required by 3D repo. There's no other metadata or anything for the contractor to load. That's all done for them. They have a submit button up here. What we're going to do is set up a reviewer, and the reviewer is going to be me in this case, even though I'm already logged in. So the reviewer in Supplier Exchange will be that review. And you can see it says published to 3D repo there as the status. So behind the scenes, it's loaded that file into 3D repo. We're submitting it. It goes into the review process, and you can see it becomes pending. And then you can click on it, and then you've got an accept reject option as the reviewer. This could be a different user, obviously. And that triggers you straight into 3D repo. So you've got a nice screen on the front of 3D repo here. A simple barrier in here. We can just look at the BIM data, obviously, and do all those great things as part of the collaboration on the model. So then you can either decide, am I going to accept it? Maybe you want to jump to some of the other deliverables, which are all listed here as reflected in Supplier Exchange. You can come back and say, okay, I'm fine with that. I'll accept it. You can accept a bunch together if you want to as well. And that switches the status over to accepted. You can see the little green flag appears. And that's it. And essentially then the system is all ready to pull it into your main system. So it's pretty straightforward. As I say, you can bulk load as well quite easily. So how many minutes I've used, but it's quite short, hopefully. But just to summarize, make the BIM data part of your general review processes. Not just documents. You might have millions of documents, but you're also going to have all of this model data. You want to be able to assess and reject the data before it even gets into your system, so you don't have to have all of that problem of dealing with it and getting rid of it again. And make use of all of that great 3D repo functionality that's there. Also, once it's in your main system, you've still got all of that 3D repo functionality to review and approve, even though you've got the files in your main system. Okay, so that's me. If anybody wants any information, obviously come and grab me at the end. Okay, thanks very much.